What's up, guys? I'm glad to be back with another video. And today I'm going to show you how to do this light theme, dark theme toggle switch in React. I'm going to go ahead and open this up a little bit bigger. I know my video image at the bottom might be covering some of that. But this is what we're doing, this login screen right here. Really basic. We got some just some icons at the top, it's like social logins. Then we have email form input here and a password input. Then here at the bottom, this light theme, you see if we toggle this button, it switches over to dark theme with a nice little transition. So, and notice right here, our text changes from the light theme to the dark theme. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. And I've been going over some hooks in React, and I told you I was gonna explore some new hooks. And the way we would do this, little spoiler alert here, we're gonna use the use local storage hook. So I told you guys I was gonna be exploring some new hooks with you guys. So let's jump into it with this video. And I'm gonna show you how to code this completely from the beginning. You can do this in any project. It is super simple to do the light, dark toggle theme. It's gonna be a quick video, super easy to implement into any application you're building in React with the use local storage hook. But without further ado, let's get started. All right, you guys, we are in VS Code here. So go ahead and press the Control backtick button to open up our terminal here. And I'm just gonna change the directory over to the desktop. Then let's go ahead and create our React app with npx create-react-app. And I'm just gonna call this dark theme. And this will only take a moment, you guys. All right, it says happy hacking. That means we are ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and pull over my folder that we just created. And now we are in the folder. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up a bit. Some things we're not gonna be using. Let's get rid of this app.test. Sorry, the logo, report web vitals, setup test. We're not gonna be using the app.css either. So let's delete all of those. If you've already started the server, you'll be getting some errors. Don't worry about it. We're gonna fix that right now. To fix those, let's delete that one. Let's delete these report web vitals. And then in our app.js, let's go ahead and get rid of some of this code. And we can replace this here at the top with import React from React. Okay, so let's go ahead and start our server here with npm start. It should be just a blank white screen. Yes. And I'm going to type in some text here. Whoops. Somebody got onto me for typing hello world to say that's what all the developers do. So I'm not going to do that. Okay. There we go. Cool. So everything is working. We can go ahead and get rid of that. We are going to be using one package that we need to be installing. So let's go ahead and open up another little terminal here. And we're going to type npm I, and it is use-local-storage. Like I said, this is a hook we're going to be using to toggle our light theme and dark theme. So it looks like we are all installed here. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure. There it is. So let's go ahead and import this. We need to import use local storage from, use local storage, just like so, you guys. Okay, now we are set up. Let's get ready and let's code this thing. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm just gonna use one CSS file. It's gonna be that index.css. So I'm just gonna go ahead and import that right now. There we go. So we're not gonna be needing all of this here. We can probably delete that. We don't need any of this. There we go. It's gonna be fine for now. So let's go into our app.js and let's go ahead and set up some more JSX here. So let's go, we don't need this. Let's change this over to app lowercase, because what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be creating this in our index.css file. So go ahead and change that over to a lowercase. And let's start off coding this thing. So let's give this a div with a class name of login. In here, we're gonna have h1 at the top here. Let's just say login. And then under here, let's start with our container. So div with the class name container. Within this container, we're going to have another div with a top section. We're going to define that as top. And then we're going to be using FontAwesome. So if you're not familiar with FontAwesome, let's cruise over there. Just FontAwesome.com. There you go. go ahead and sign up with an account here. It is free. I already have my code. You're going to get a little script tag. I've already got mine. So go over here once you get your script tag and go into your index.html, and we can just post it right here. So paste it. There we go. That's what it should look like. Something like that there. And what that's going to allow us to do is use some of these icons in here that we're going to be using. So I already know what we're going to be using. So if you're not familiar with FontAwesome, super cool. You can also use React icons, one of the packages. But in this video, I'm going to be using FontAwesome. So let's go ahead and use some of these icons. So the first one we're going to be using, FAB, is going to be Google, FA-Google. There we go. And I'm going to copy this down. And so that just to make things a little bit easier, Facebook-Square. Next one is going to be LinkedIn. There we go. Also going to be using Twitter, Square. Let's use Apple. So just to make sure that these are displaying properly. Perfect. There they are. They're all bunched up because we don't have any styling. That's okay. If you guys like to, I'll make it. Sometimes like to see what we're building. Also, I'm going to go ahead and make the size a little bit bigger for you guys. Sorry for that. There we go. Cool. So we have our login here. That seems really big. Okay, let's do this. Cool. So we have all our icons here. What we're going to do next, just underneath this top div, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to do a little p tag. And I'm going to give this p tag a class name of divider. Then within the p tag, I'm going to put a little span. I'm going to say or. Okay. Now underneath this here, let's start with our form underneath our divider. So say form. We're going to have a label that says email. There we go. And let's do our input. Type is going to be email. Let's do a placeholder that says enter your email. And we're going to do a little closing tag there. And I'm going to copy this. I guess we can copy that down. It's fine. And this one's going to be type password. And this one's going to say enter your password. Let's give this input a label as well. This label will say password. Okay, so underneath here, we want our little remember tag. So we're going to do this within the form. We're going to add another div with a class name. I'm going to call this remember. And in here, let's do another input. And this type is going to be checkbox. And we want checked equal to checked. Let's close that off. And then a little p tag that says remember me. Okay, looking good. Now let's throw in a button. Just our little login button. Whoops. There we go. Everything is looking nice so far. And that closes out our form. So after the form, you guys, let's go ahead and we want to add a little bit more to our form or to our login container here. So let's do another div with a class name of bottom. And we'll do our password reset here. So let's do a p tag here with a forget your password. Okay, and then we'll do a little a tag. And in here we'll say reset password. That'll be it for the bottom div there. Cool. And then we can also have, we'll throw in a little, in case people don't have an account, we'll say create account. Let's give this a class name so we can style that as well. Let's say create. that is looking good there. So underneath this create account div there, what I want to do is create one more div with a class name of theme toggle. And this is where we're going to be using the button to toggle our light theme and dark theme. So H2, and we're going to have the text change whenever we swap themes. But for right now, I'm just going to say a light theme, just going to hard code that in there. But we're going to come back and do some logic here in just a little bit. Then underneath there, let's do another class. What is this one called? FA toggle on, I believe. Let me look here. Okay, perfect. So that is it for our JSX, you guys. Switch back over this node here so we can see our warnings. So that is it for our JSX, you guys. What we do want to do is our styling, of course, and then we're going to use our use local storage hook. So let's go ahead and get some styles in here so it starts looking a little bit nicer. So I'm just going to pump that down a little bit. The way we're going to be using local storage and doing our light theme, dark theme is super simple. We're going to be using some CSS variables to swap back and forth with our colors. So I already have my colors chosen. So I'm just going to type these in real quick. I'm just going to copy them over here. If you're not familiar with CSS variables, essentially what we do at the top of our CSS file, do the colon here, root, and then we name our colors. So -- background. This of course means I want our background to be white, and then we can assign whatever colors you would like here, and we'll just call this later on in our CSS file. So, but how we want to switch to our dark theme, what we're going to do, open some brackets here and type data-theme equals to dark. And then I'm going to throw in my colors here. And these are the colors that I'm copying over right now are the colors I want to use on my dark theme, of course. So our background here, we want to change it from white to black. Our text primary is going to go from black to white text. Text secondary is going to stay the same. And then some accent colors are going to be pretty similar. And then I'm doing some border here and a form background as well. So we can have a nice little, just a separate, little different background color, lighter gray here than our background. So it just stands out a little bit better. So now that we have our variables in here, let's go, we don't need that. We're going to retype that here. Let's go ahead and add some more styling. So I want to take care of this. Let's do padding 0. We don't want any margin anywhere unless we define it. Box sizing, we'll use a border box opposed to the content box. Then let's go down. And what we want to do is just some styling here. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this A tag here, our links. So let's say text secondary. So always want our links to stand out a little bit. There we go. Now let's style our app here. So we're going to start right here with this class name of app. I'm going to give it some space. So let's go ahead and start with there. And we want the background color here. And this is where we're going to set it. So we're going to say variable. This is how we're calling our CSS variables. Variable, and then open parentheses, -- background, which is what we call the background color. And then color, which is the color of our text. We want to use text primary. Okay, perfect. And let's do a height of 100 VH. We're going to display flex direction. We want to be column. There we go. And let's justify the content to the center with a font size. Let's do 0.8 rem. And transition. Let's do 0.5. This will give a nice little, about a half-second transition when we swap over from our light theme to dark theme. So let's go ahead and style our, moving on here, our H1 here. So we'll just start with, say login, H1, let's do text align, center, margin, 6 rem, 0, 2 rem, and do a font size of, let's see, 48 pixels. Perfect. Do our H2 as well, text align, to the center with padding of 1 rem. Perfect, perfect. Then our theme, toggle I, putting this a little bit bigger here. I want the cursor to be a nice little pointer here. There we go. Boom. Okay. Is that centered? Let's go and center that as well. Oh, we gotta do this. Let's copy that down. There we go. Perfect. All right. So next, let's start with our container. I know that was kind of out of order, you guys, so I apologize for that. If you like to go in order, let's do a flex direction of column, justify content to the center, and we'll align items to the center as well. Let's give it some padding, 1.5 rem. Let's see here. Let's do a width. We want this to be, let's say 300 pixels. Margin auto, so it shows everything in the middle. And let's do some box shadow. See, 0 pixels, 0 pixels, 12 pixels. Nice little spread there. And we're going to be using our border variable that we defined, because our border will change as we swap over from light theme to dark theme. Let's do a border radius of 8 pixels. And let's do our background color. And it's going to be variable form BG. So we want this to change to like a dark gray whenever we toggle our theme here. So to the top, this is where our icons are. We want to display a flex so we can justify it space between with a width of 100%. Let's see. Boom, perfect. That filled out nicely. And let's increase our icons here. Whoops. With a font size of, let's do 1 rem. So bump them up just a little bit in size there. Let's go on to our divider here. We want that to, we want the width on this thing to span across 100% of the page with a text align center. And here's how we're going to do the little line here. So we're going to do a border bottom, 1 pixel solid. We want this to be text primary. Line height 0.1 rem. It's going to move it up just a little bit. There we go. Don't worry, we're not done yet. 2 rem 0. Boom. There we go. But we want this to not have the line through our text. And here is how we're going to fix that. So our span here, that's why we added our span, be 0, 10 pixels with a background, background color is what we want here. Would have worked all the same. And our variable form background. Boom, there we go. That's how you do that, you guys. So looking nice. Let's go ahead and give our labels and let's start with our form. Can't forget the form. So form, let's do a width of 100%, display, flex, and flex direction of a column, of course. And for our labels, you can scroll down here. Labels and input here. For a label, let's do margin 8 pixel. Oops. On the top and bottom, 0 on the left and right. And a font weight, let's do 600. So for our input, let's do padding 8 pixels. Margin bottom 8 pixels. So our border radius 6. Let's do 6. And then our border 1 pixel solid. And let's use our border, border color there. And we want a background. It's background, of course. And color. Text primary. And the way you're going to switch out colors, if you're doing your own project, just change out the colors up here with your root and then your dark theme as well. So if you're following along, that's great. But if you're doing your own project, that's cool too. That's how you would make those changes. So the next we have our remember div here, and we want to display that as flex. We want that to be on one line. So align item center with a width of 100%. There we go. And let's do our input. We're going to tag our input here. The way we're going to select our just our text box input here without adding a class name to it. Open up some brackets and say checkbox. Checked. And let's give it margin of 0, padding 0, so it lines up nicely. Boom. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Now let's give a little spacing to that remember me. So remember. Let's give a little padding left, just so it sticks out a little bit. There we go. So we haven't done our button yet. Let's go ahead and do that. We want a background color. Let's use our accent colors. So accent, there we go. Border's gonna be 1 pixel, solid. Accent as well. And I'm not gonna toggle the text of the button, so I'm just gonna leave that. Just hard code that in is white. Give it a margin of 16 pixels, top and bottom, 0 on left and right. Well, we want padding to be, let's do 10 pixels all around. The border radius of 10 pixels. Font weight of 600. And cursor pointer. There we go. So that is looking nice. You got our form starting to come together. It looks pretty good. We're almost done, you guys. Let's go ahead, style that bottom div here. The display flex, justify content, let's do space between, and with a width of 100% and a font size of 0.8 rem. There we go. And install our create here. Create. And this is just a p tag that we're styling. Margin top, 1 rem, and let's do cursor pointer. Kind of as if it was a secondary button, though it is not. There we go. I think it's looking pretty good. We can do a little media query, you know, if we decide to, if we're styling like a phone, because that looks kind of jacked up. So let's do media, media screen, and we'll say a max width of, let's see, 478 pixels. And in which case we just want to change the login to a width. Let's do 95%. I think that's going to be. I think that is going to be okay. Let's see. Let's change this to iPad Pro. 1,000. 7.8. There we go. 7.8 plus. iPhone X. Okay, there we go. So I think that is looking okay, you guys. Let's just have a look here. Sometimes it just doesn't. It's the thing we're displaying properly here. Would be our little scroll bar. Okay, so everything is looking as it should. Of course, this doesn't work, and what we want to do now is go ahead and code the logic for our light theme and dark theme. So let's go back to our our app.js, and then at the top, we've already imported the use local storage, and then very similar to the use state hook, we're gonna go down here just above the return, but below our function here. And what we want to do is type const, curly brackets, or sorry, yeah, open brackets there. When I type theme, you can call this whatever you want. I'm going to call it theme and set theme. I'm going to equal to use local storage. Let's open some parentheses here. And what we're going to do is check theme is either dark, or light. There we go. So since it's using local storage, you guys, it uses sessions in the browser. And so essentially you can just close this and reopen it, and it's going to remember the theme that you left it on, which is kind of nice. So just below here, we want to do our arrow function to switch our theme back and forth. So I'm going to type const, switch theme. And like I said, this is an arrow function. We're going to call this new theme, equal to theme. All right, or dark. There we go. Then we're going to set theme to the new theme. There we go. So a few more things here to use, just toggle back and forth with our CSS here. We want to add this in. We called this data theme dark. So back over here, right here next to our app, type data theme equal to theme. Now let's scroll down. We need to add an on click for our button here. So let's do that. We can add it to their toggle or to this div. I'm just going to add it to this, to the icon itself. So we're going to say on click. We're going to run our, what we just call it here, change theme, switch theme here. Switch theme. There you goes. Now that should be it, you guys. Let's have a look and see if everything is working properly. Oh, there it is. Perfect. So there you have it, you guys. We are now able to toggle from the light theme to the dark theme. Everything is changing as it should. If we look at our index.css, notice the background from white changes to black. And of course, our text here is changing as well. Our button is the accent color should stay the same, but everything else is changing. Our text primary, our text secondary, the border, the form background, everything is displaying just perfectly. So I know that was kind of a little bit longer than what it should have been. I know it's kind of tedious typing in some of the JSX and the CSS, but I like starting from a blank project, you guys. It's just easier for everybody to follow along. That's how I learn best. So that's how I like to do it as well. But as you can see, if we were to just add this in to an existing project, we could have completed this a lot faster. So if you're throwing this in on your own application, then you can do this very easily with a lot less time. But I hope you liked it, you guys. Something really cool that I learned using the use local storage hook. If you liked it, then please like the video. Consider subscribing to my channel. I'm going to be pumping out some more content just like this. In React, we're going to be exploring some new hooks and also some full stack as well, maybe some MongoDB. I hope you liked it, you guys, and I will see you on the next one.